Sharks are predators. They hunt their prey, and this would be a very fitting way to describe Chad the Shark Collins. He has to be one of the most tenacious fighters in kickboxing right now.
Nowadays the pain follow me, deal with trauma privately. I don't wanna be a burden, I handle things defiantly. Spent a decade searching for a higher power guiding me. Figured out that faith is not up there, that it's inside of me. Act with execution, but a plan with zero action. Faced with bad habits, knowing it's a magnet to my imbalance. I'm somewhere between confidence and arrogance, the middle ground is treacherous.
The best defense is a good offense, and that about sums up Chad Collins' whole game. He must be an absolute nightmare to fight. Anyone that gets in the ring with the Shark can expect a long night. He weaponises conditioning by forcing his opponents to fight at a torrid pace or drown. It is literally punch, kick, knee, and elbow when it's permitted in Muay Thai. It's like that scene in Gattaca, where they both play that game of chicken, swimming out as far as they can, with the first one to turn back losing.
This is how I did it, Anton. I never saved anything for the swim back.
Who's got the balls to go so far they save nothing for the swim back? Although Australian born and raised, he has spent the best part of his career training and competing in Thailand. Collins' resume isn't short of big name Thai fighters. Pakorn, Seaksan, Saenchai. But it's been in Japan where he's emerged as one of the world's top kickboxers. Collins recently beat Glory Champion Petpanomrung Kiatmuu9, his biggest win to date. I'm going to call him Pet from now on. Collins' roots are deeply entrenched in Muay Thai, and he brings that spirit into every fight. From the Thai-style shorts to the Seaksan tattoos, he proudly represents the sport of Thai boxing. A Seaksan tattoo is a traditional Thai tattoo that holds spiritual and cultural significance. It's often associated with protection, luck, and other beneficial attributes, which is why they are worn by Muay Thai fighters. The designs are traditionally etched by a Seaksan master known as an Arjan, using a hand-poked method with a bamboo or steel rod. Collins has certainly taken some of that protective Seaksan magic. As of this video, Collins has had 80 bouts in Muay Thai and kickboxing, and I don't believe he's ever been stopped.
しかもそれが全部的確なんで、適当に出してるんじゃないんで、空いてるとこを狙って。
ペンチ。お互いミドル。もらったらすぐ返す。
Collins will force his way into exchanges, trying to outgun his man, and he keeps this up for as long as he needs to. He has a couple of strategies to get himself where he needs to be, and most of the time, that's in the pocket. The front kick.
ここにライズのリングで強さを見せつけてきました。
Chad stands tall, and this allows him to lift his legs with ease. Muay Thai fighters will distribute their weight unevenly, putting more weight into their back foot, let's say 40-60, whereas a boxer will typically have their weight spread evenly 50-50. This doesn't allow Chad to punch with full power. That's one of the downsides of having a narrow stance, but it helps him block and teep as he marches his way into range.
Standing right in front of him.
As they move back into...
Collins trying to keep going.
Looking at the openings.
Taking everything Collins is throwing at it.
It not only presses opponents back towards the ropes, but constantly disrupts their rhythm, making it difficult for them to mount an offence without first dealing with this irritating teep. Again, by being light on the front leg, it allows him to readily use his next move, the left kick. Chad can flick it up with little to no telegraph, and when chaining it together with his push kick, he has a diverse attack by coming up the middle with a straight shot and the side with the round kick. He pesters with both and makes it difficult for fighters to open up on him with punches. A good left kick is the perfect weapon to take away the right hand of an orthodox fighter, as they'll need their right arm to protect their body from the kick. If every time you throw that right hand, you eat a kick across the ribs, it becomes a pretty good deterrent. Collins has an active and dexterous lead leg, and he's able to chain the techniques together, going to the leg, the body and the head, making it very difficult for his opponent to correctly read and defend against his attacks. Boxing. Chad's boxing is more about landing hands than what I'd think of as the sweet science. He'll lunge his way in with hooks to head and body, something that is traditionally frowned upon in Western boxing, where it's all about setups and jabbing your way in. He often doesn't have time for all of that setup, especially when kickboxing for only 3 by 3-minute rounds. Now, lunging in with hooks to body can sometimes lead him to getting off balance, like we see here in this example where Pet teeps him to the floor with relative ease. But Collins is persistent. That's his best asset. He isn't easily deterred. Collins will replace jabbing his way in by simply marching his way in with high knees, and it really is effective. He'll then grab his opponent's head with his lead hand and proceed to unload. This obviously stems from his background in Muay Thai. It's almost like dirty boxing, which isn't permitted in boxing or kickboxing, to grab the back of an opponent's head with one hand and punch with the other. But in the midst of the chaos, it happens so quickly, it can become a bit of a grey area. Collins loves the uppercut and will occasionally use this catch and release method to land before flowing into the next combination. Something I really like about Collins' combinations is he has great variety. He's constantly changing the angle of his shots, and that sometimes involves a spin, almost guaranteeing the opponent will take one for their troubles. Rather than using single power shots, Collins will maintain a constant pace throughout the fight. As the volume increases, the more damage accumulates and he begins to suffocate his opponent. His constant work to the body is energy sapping, and that brings me on to what is probably Collins' best weapon. Knees. Collins spent a stint at the famous Saenchai gym in Thailand. At one point in time, this was regarded as the toughest gym in Thailand, with foreign fighters barely lasting a week before having to leave. This was due to the tough conditions of the gym, domesticated animals like pigs and chickens roaming through the gym floor, and its Spartan-like training regime, with fighters not being permitted any days off from training. Saenchai was known for his elbow techniques, relentless pressure and spearing knees, and had bested legendary fighter Raymond Dekkers several times, and his style carries the ethos of teacher P2 Saenchai. Clinching is limited under kickboxing rules, with it being used more for tie-ups to nullify boxing, but Collins has a habit of sneaking in well-placed knees. He turns the point of his knee in, flaring the heel out, so he finds the midsection or solar plex nearly every time. This style of knee is extremely difficult to get out of the way of, and he throws it with almost square shoulders, head forward, chin tucked in, so he's in an excellent posture to absorb any oncoming punches. You see, the downside to a long knee is the opponent can often intercept it with a well-timed punch. The way Chad throws his knee, he's in a very stable position. When he marches in with blocking high knees, he's ready to throw knee strike at any moment, dependent on the range of his opponent. Knee fighters are described as Muay Cow stylists in Muay Thai, and boxers named as Muay Mat, but Chad blends the two together seamlessly, punch into knee and knee into punch. A large majority of Collins' attacks are aimed at the body, and over time it brings down the hands of a fighter, with fighters trying to guard their midsection, opening themselves up to headshots. When Chad Collins is in full flow, he has the snowball effect, gaining more and more momentum as he goes.
I think fight to take world title on the line.
Chad has struggled most with the technical fighters that find ways to disrupt his rhythm and prevent him from building any real momentum. If they can halt his forward pressure with jabs and teeps, tie him up into the clinches and off-balance him with throws, then they can prevent him from getting into a full swing. Pet win was huge in showing he can overcome that style, and with Pet being the current Glory Champion, with the only other fighter considered above the one champion Superlek, and I would be very interested to see that fight. Chad Collins is without doubt one of the best kickboxers in the world. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you see any other holes in the Shark style? Or are there any strengths that I didn't pick up on? As always, thank you for watching the video. You can also follow me over on Patreon for extra breakdowns and content over there, as well as an abundance of breakdowns on this channel. Pro striking out, I'll catch you later.
샤론 콜린즈、なんと難攻不落のペッチを下しました。